Welcome to Content and Conversations, the podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners that want to prioritize connection and relationship as the primary tool to drive sales. Content and conversations are the two most powerful tools you have to attract the most amazing clients, build solid relationships, and sell more stuff. From sales, marketing, energy, and mindset, we'll discuss everything you need to hit your goals, make more money, and have more fun in your business. Let's go. Hello, and welcome to Content and Conversations, where I'm really excited to have a conversation with you about selling every single day in your business and the importance of this. So as I am recording this, it is the end of 2023 going into 2024. So if you catch this when it comes out, it's still 2023, but it's very possible you're finding this in 2024. But one of the big shifts that I have been making this year, and I'm seeing more and more businesses make, and I think it's more and more fundamentally sound in businesses or in business for long-term sustainable growth, is selling every day. Right. So, I came into the online space in 2018, 2019. I know that webinars were alive and well. Jeff Walker's product launch formula, I think that's what it is out, right? A lot of people were doing, I know Amy Porterfield was teaching like webinars and launches, and what's his name? Stu McLaren talks about memberships and opening and closing. And there's a lot of gurus in the online space that have talked about like opening and closing and launching and webinars and challenges and all of those different things. And those tools are fantastic tools. I am not saying don't do those things. I'm not saying that those things do not work. I want to be very, very clear. I made well over $1 million launching. So I know that launching works. However, what I personally experienced in launching is that launching then became what ran my entire life, right? Running an every 4 to 6 week launch cycle, being prepped all of the time, filling a launch, executing on the launch, follow up after launch, selling outside of launch. And it was just this hamster wheel. And it felt like one that I couldn't get off of because it worked so well. And when I ended my business partnership at the end of 21, the beginning of 2022, I put my stake in the ground and was like, I am not launching ever again. And I don't know if that's true. I'm not, never say never, right? Obviously I know that now, but at the time I was just so burnt out. It reminds me of the time I went through a brief phase in life where I tried to be a runner. I ran half marathons for probably 4 or 5 years. And my last foray into running is I ran what they call the Heartland 39.3, which is a race here in Kansas City, or a series of races where you run 3 half marathons in 4 weeks. And I trained my face off. I ran the 3 races. I finished the last race, and I looked at my now ex-husband and looked at him and said, I'm never running again. And I literally never ran again. I don't know if that's going to be true about launches and webinars and workshops, because I do really love to teach. And I do find that those tools are fantastic for establishing authority in a lot of ways and teaching and all of those different things. But ultimately, what I wanted in a business was a business that made money all of the time. I wanted a business that made money whether I was launching or not. I wanted a business where I could just show up in the way that felt the best to me and actually sell things. And so at the beginning of 2022, that's what I really became focused on, is how do I create a system inside of my business that I sell every single day, that we're bringing money in all the time. And I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that we sell new business every single day. I think that's also very, very important for me to point out to you, because there's some people that make a lot of promises and make it sound like, hey, this is super easy and this just happens all the time for us. So full disclosure at this point, my intention, my goal, one of my big goals for 2024 is that somebody joins our membership every single day. That is a vision that I have, but it's not currently happening. And I feel the need to be very transparent in that. But I also want to talk about why I sell every single day. And the number one reason why, right? The number one reason why I sell every single day is because people buy on their timeline, not ours. That is the biggest problem I find in the launch cycle, is this idea that people are going to buy in this 3-day, 5-day, 9-day window that I have created for them to buy. And then then they're not going to buy outside of that. And we train them to do that. I mean, we do train them to buy inside of that window, but then we train them to not buy outside of that window, because why would I buy outside of this window? Because that person's going to launch again and they're going to offer bonuses and a bunch of cool shit. So I'm going to wait. We've literally trained our buyers. We've trained people to buy inside of these windows. But to me, what that winds up doing is leaving money on the table, right? The number of people that I have gone to look at their offers or their programs that are closed, right? They're just not available. It's crazy town to me. I remember when I was first coaching, somebody asked me well, Stu McLaren says that you should only open your membership a couple times a year. Your programs are open all year round, Ryan. Why do you do that? I'm like, because I like to make money all year round. I don't have Stu McLaren money where I can only open my membership twice a year and that be enough to sustain my business. And nor do I want to put that much pressure on my team My staff adds technology to only have 2 really big selling opportunities a year. I have no idea what Stu McLaren sells outside. I'm assuming that there's other things happening in his business, but what we see externally is that there's these 2 big launches, right? We see this with, it comes through, we see it, we start to get served all the affiliate ads, when Jenna Kutcher and Amy Porterfield and all those people come together and they're all affiliating one another's stuff, and that's their window, right? That's their window of time that they're selling. And there's nothing wrong with that. These people make millions and millions of dollars. They are excellent marketers. But what I realized that is, yes, I want to have businesses the size of Jenna Kutcher's and Amy Porterfield's, but I'm not willing to put all of that pressure on these conversion events inside of my business. What I want to do is I want to build a brand, and I want to build a business that closes business every single day. And what's really wild is if you step out of online entrepreneur land, wild but not, right? Businesses sell every day. Like, go find me an accounting firm with an office in the town that you live in and ask them if they only open cart periodically, right? Ask them if they're only signing new clients in a certain window, if they're only taking new business in certain windows. The answer is hell no. That is just this crazy thing that we have been taught in entrepreneur land. And a lot of people wind up trapped in this cycle. They don't know how to get out of it. And so that's what I really want to get through to you today, is that this cycle is not a normal cycle. This is a cycle that was created by an industry because real businesses, the Targets, the Verizons, the accounting firms, the Fortune 500, the chiropractor's office up the street, the dentist office up the street, the consultants, they sell all of the time. They sell all of the time. The mortgage lender, the real estate agent, they sell every single day. They're taking on new business every single day. That's just what they do. That's how businesses work. So for me, I'm like, why am I trying to run a business in this really weird way when this tiny little slice of pie on the internet says that this is the way to do this, when I know I've literally worked inside of businesses where we close millions and millions of business every single year with shitty marketing, frankly, with no launching, with very little online presence, right? How did I do that? I went out into the world. I built relationships. I solved problems, and I made offers. I went out into the world, built relationships, solved problems, and made offers. That is what it is to sell every single day. Meet people, solve problems, make offers. Meet people, solve problems, make offers. That is the formula to a successful business that makes money every single day. And what's really freaking amazing about where we are in the world right now is that you can do this on the internet. You can do this in person. You can do this through your email list. You can do this through your podcast. I mean, there's a million different ways of which to execute on this. For me, social media happens to be my favorite. I like social media. I like writing. I like content creation. I obviously love podcasting. I'm fine with short form video. Like, I like content creation. I have a lot to say. You know that because you're a member of this community. But if you are not like me, that doesn't mean that you cannot sell every single day because you're not willing to put out as much content as I push out. That's fine. But what you need to do every day is meet people, solve problems, make offers. Meet people, solve problems, make offers. How do you do that every day? For me, it's in my social media content, right? So we do 2 things every single day: content and conversations. So we are creating content. For us, it is our primary platform. That is Facebook for us right now. I am really challenging myself moving into 2024 to lean more into short form video and being more consistent with that. But I'm putting out content on Facebook every single day, right? To me, that is my online storefront. That is how I open my store and say I am open for business, is by sharing my message out in the world, right? And then I am in conversations, or a member of my team is in conversations with new people every day. We're adding new people to our audience. On Facebook, it's really easy. We send friend requests. And then when people accept them, we send a message and we say, thank you so much for being part of our community. And we build a relationship. And if and when, only when they have a problem that we can solve, do we make an offer of some kind, right? And sometimes that offer is, do you want to come hang out in our Facebook group? Do you want to download our private podcast? Do you want to listen to our free podcast? Are you interested in a demo of our software, right? There's a million different ways once we get them into our ecosystem, but we are constantly having conversations every day. So for me, to open my store, to sell every day, I have content and conversations. That is it. That is my formula for going out into the world, meeting people, solving problems, right? I do some networking. I do a lot of different things to meet people. I like to just, I will reach out to random people on the internet and be like, hey, I like your style. I want to get to know you. Like, the number of clients I've signed that way is astronomical, right? But that is it. That is our formula to selling every day. Business doesn't have to be any harder than that. It doesn't even have to be a complicated funnel, right? You don't even have to send people to a Facebook group or to download anything. You can literally just get into conversation with somebody and be like, oh my gosh, I can help you with that. A couple weeks ago, I was at a networking event. I met these women and we were talking about email marketing. And she was like, I know that I need to be building an email list. I don't even know where to start. And I said, hey, I'd love to come by the store. She's a local retail store, and said, hey, I'd love to come by a store, have a conversation with you. I'll share some ideas, right? Went in, figured it out, got a yes, right? Like that's it. That's all that I did. I met somebody, I established authority. I told them that I was an expert at this thing. I explained to them how I could see it working for their business. She asked me for more information and I told her. That is it. That is the simplicity of business and selling every day. It's putting yourself in those situations. And if it's not you, a member of your team, in those situations every single day, every day, every day, every day, every day. And when you do that every day, every day, every day, it creates a compound effect, right? It creates a compound effect. And most people, what happens is they don't get results in the first week, 2 weeks, like 30 days of doing this. And they're like, oh, this doesn't work. And then they're on to the next thing. It is consistency. You sell every day when you consistently sell every day because people buy on their timeline, not yours. So if you're only willing to do whatever strategy, whatever it is that works for you for 30 days, and if you're not getting results, you're moving on to the next thing, you're frankly not giving it enough time. There's a lot of data to show right now that people have to interact with your brand between 12 and 16 times before they're even paying attention. That doesn't necessarily mean they're ready to make a buying decision. That just means that they've seen you often enough, right? If you haven't listened to the Reach and Frequency podcast, I want you to go back and do that. I'm not going to get on that soapbox today. But the truth of the matter is most people grossly underestimate the volume necessary to be successful in this game. But what's not talked about is the compound effect, right? I once saw a post, gosh, I wish I could tell you who it was. It was Sarah Dan. I've mentioned Sarah Dan before. I'm a big fan of hers. She talked about if you're trying to lose 20 pounds, and you've only lost 3 pounds, the likelihood of you losing, the extra 17 pounds in the last 3 days of the month is pretty unlikely, right? Or 3 days out from whatever the event is. But the difference is, and this, I'm paraphrasing, obviously, the difference is in business, that can be true. Like, if you're like, I want to make X number of dollars by this date, and you're only, 30% to the goal, the last 70% can come in the last 3 days if you don't give up, if you keep showing up, if you keep selling every single day. Every single day. And most people there's so many reasons why people don't do this, right? It's a lack of consistency. And then it's the mindset drama, right? I don't want to appear salesy, right? And I've talked about this before, but I'm saying it again, there is not a Fortune 500 company out there that is apologizing for being salesy. There is not a 7-figure business out there that is apologizing for being salesy, right? The only way that you are salesy is if you won't take no for an answer. But selling your shit every day is simply called owning a business, not being salesy, not being pushy. It's called owning a business, and the storefront has to be open every single day, which means we have to sell every single day. And I'm on this wild mission of getting people off this roller coaster of I only sell during these certain periods. And like I said, I'm a both and kind of girl. So if your launches are working, I'm not telling you to stop doing them. But what I'm hearing from a lot of people is what was working before is not working anymore. So they are looking for something different. But if your launch is not broken, I'm not telling you to tear it down. What I'm telling you to do is to find a way to make sure that you're bringing in clients between those conversion events. So if your launch breaks, if your Facebook ads break down, if technology happens, if you get sick and you can't execute, you don't find yourself in a situation where you're like, holy shit, I don't know how I'm going to make any money this month, or I don't know how I'm going to, make payroll, right? This is really the difference between an online entrepreneur and a business, a true business that can sustain anything, whether or not social media is a thing. Right? And of course, I don't think social media will ever go away. It may look different than it does today. But the truth of the matter is when you have this foundational thing in place, right? This go out in the world, meet people, solve problems, make offers. When you have that foundation in place, when you can do that and do that well, it doesn't matter the platform. It doesn't matter what social media platform you're on. It doesn't matter whether you're in person, like I said, email, podcast, whatever, right? We just have to make sure we sell every single day. And we need to show up unapologetically because nobody else is going to champion for you better than you are. Nobody is going to champion for you better than you are. So how do you, this is the final question I'm going to wrap up, because as a visionary, you're thinking, holy shit, Ryan, I don't want to show up and sell the same thing every single day. That's so boring to me. I know. I share your brain and I know. So what we do as a team is we actually have a schedule of what we're promoting each week. So we're selling different offers all inside of our offer suite, right? So, some weeks our sale that week is we're getting people to download our private podcast. Our private podcast pitches our membership, right? So we're either pitching the private podcast or I'm pitching the membership, right? And then the next week we'll talk about Connect Chat, which is our social media prospecting software, right? And then the next week I'm talking about our partner program, which is our outsourced sales and marketing system, right? Or team partnership, right? So every week I'm talking about something different. So my brain doesn't get bored, but I'm still selling every single week, right? I very infrequently, I guess it's not infrequently, sometimes I'll throw in an offer or a bonus or something fun. But generally speaking, I just sell the thing because I don't feel compelled to create urgency for something that I know is already good. I don't feel compelled to offer bonuses for my shit because again, we have been trained to look for the bonuses, right? For me, I'm like, why do you have to offer so many bonuses? If your stuff was already good, if it was already worth what you were charging for it, why do you got to offer me a bonus to get me to buy it, right? Like that's just the approach that I take because traditional businesses, real businesses that sustain the growth that they have, they're not offering bonuses. They're not offering urgency. I mean, and again, sometimes in software companies, end of the quarter, public companies, right? They'll offer an incentive or a discount or something to, to get somebody to pull the trigger, but that's not their entire sales model, right? What we have been taught as online entrepreneurs is so effed up. Like the more that I'm talking, I'm like, holy shit, how did I fall down this rabbit hole for so many years? And I'm not saying this to make you feel bad, but like when you think of what you are building and where you want to go and what your goals are as a business owner, right? When you think about what that looks like for you, do you want to live on this revenue roller coaster? Do you want to be dependent upon things outside of your control? Because to me, I can always control meeting new people, solving problems, and making offers. I can control that, whether it's me or a member of my team, right? I can 100% control that. I can't control ad costs. I can't control technology failures. I can't control, people not signing up for, my whatever I'm selling, right? There's a lot of things that we can't control in business, but we can control showing up and selling every day. So if you do not have a system in place in your business for how to open your online storefront and let people know that you are open for business, this is your invitation going into 2024, that you get to open your business and sell stuff every single day. Open your business, sell stuff every single day. If you need help, we're here to do it. Otherwise, sell every day. That is sustainability. That is long-term business success. That is a business foundation that you can build upon. Okay? See you next week. Thank you so much for listening to Content and Conversations. If this was helpful for you, I would love if you would follow along, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. And we'll see you next week.